Hi, welcome to Project Elivate, where we will discuss all things related to health, hormones, aesthetics, and longevity. The topics discussed are the opinions of Olivia Stivers, nurse practitioner. They are not intended to diagnose or to treat any conditions. If you have any questions regarding your personal health, please talk to your personal healthcare provider or see us at Elevate Wellness. Now let's get to the show. Back to the Project Elivate Podcast. This is episode number 5, and per request, we have decided to dive into nutrition basics. I think that this episode is going to be a little bit jam-packed, so just bang with us. Oh my gosh, bear with us.
Bang it out and bear with us. We're going to bang it out and you bear with us.
Yeah, that's right.
This is it still ain't even going to go into detail of everything you can, but it's an introduction to nutrition.
Yeah, bare basics.
Yes.
So, but before we do that, we are excited because is it next weekend?
Yeah.
Next weekend, we're going to the Valentine's Gala for the Fight Foundation, who they support childhood cancer research.
Yes.
So by the time you listen to this,
We have
gone and look at our pictures.
Heck yeah. I know you're pretty.
I know you are too. We're wearing green. 2 redheads wearing green.
I think Ashley's wearing green too.
Yeah.
She's got like a crushed velvet.
Look out.
Yeah.
I think we should.
All the hot mamas.
Yeah. So it'd be a good time. All right. So let's first talk about, we always preach balanced nutrition. But what does that mean? I think that a term a lot of people use, how many times do you hear, I eat clean, I eat healthy? Every time we sit down with somebody, well, I eat pretty clean.
What does that even mean?
What does that mean?
What does that even mean?
So in I guess I could say my opinion, but I would say it's fact. I don't believe that there's any such thing as a bad food. Get that term bad food out of your mind. Don't think you cannot have a certain food. You can. It's how you put that certain food with other foods to make a balanced meal.
It's how you incorporate it into your life appropriately. Yes.
The way we teach our patients to focus on nutrition is in a way that's sustainable. We're not taking foods away unless there's like a food allergy of some sort, then we don't have an option. But we try to teach people how to eat the macronutrients, which are your carbs, your fats, and your proteins in a way that's, again, balanced. So,
yes, that's a great way to say that.
Let's start by talking about, so one of the things that we use to determine someone's nutritional needs is by checking an in-body scan. We'll use the in-body scan. It gives us what's called a basal metabolic rate. It tells us how much muscle mass you have on board, especially we look at how much muscle mass is in your legs, where your visceral body fat is, where your total body fat is. We look at these things and we determine, okay, what are your goals? And most of the time, I would say a lot of people think, I want to lose weight.
That's the number one thing we hear.
Yep. But we have to look at that basal metabolic rate and first determine, are you metabolically stable enough to go into a calorie deficit to lose weight? And so there are 3 things we could be doing when we're talking about nutrition. You could either be maintaining your weight, you could lose body fat, that's called what we deem cutting.
Yeah.
And then there is a
recomp.
Yeah, like a recomp where you're trying to put on more muscle mass. And we call that, I hate the term bulk because it scares people, but essentially you're trying to eat enough to build muscle.
Yes, you do lose fat when the process of gaining muscle, but your weight specifically does not change, but your physique definitely changes.
Yeah. So from there, we determine your calories. Let's first define calorie.
Okay.
If you ask anybody what a calorie is, a lot of times people are like, I don't know, it's just in food.
Yeah.
But calorie is just a term, and its job is to define a unit of measurement of energy. Yes. So when you're giving someone 150 calories of a snack, they're taking in 150 units of energy for their body to use, to break down into glucose, to shuttle into the cell, for energy and exercise and to move our bodies and live. So those calories, when you're looking at food, those calories can be determined by the macronutrients within that food. So I've got a little snack here. And again, our macronutrients are your carbs, your fat, and your protein. And we'll talk about what those do for our bodies here in just a second. But this here, I've got almonds, a pack of almonds, and the calories per serving, so this is for 19 pieces of these almonds, the calories are 170 calories. Where are those calories coming from? Well, your fat is 14 grams in this. your carbohydrates are 10, and your protein are 5.
Okay.
So if you're driving, please don't do this. But if you're sitting still, I want you to do me a favor. Get a pen and paper right now. Write down and commit this to memory. 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. 1 gram of carbohydrates is 4 calories. 1 gram of protein is 4 calories. So if you take this nutrition label and you take 14 grams of fat and you multiply that by 9, you will get...
Get us okay. Handy dandy calculator.
I know.
I should have been prepared.
I know it. I should have definitely been prepared.
Welcome to Elevate.
That's 126. So write down 126. Remember 126. Okay. Then the carbohydrates are 10, so we're going to multiply this 10 grams of carbs by 4, because 1 gram of carbohydrates is 4 calories. That's 40. Okay. So we've got 126. We've got 40. Now we're going to determine our protein. It's 5 grams in this snack. 5 times 4 equals 20. So then you add up
186.
Okay. Plus. Oh, yeah.
That's
okay,
the
sorry.
total.
That's the total of all of those.
That's
So I was like, what is it?
I'm ahead of you. I'm so sorry. I was trying to help
So if
out.
you add those 3 together, you're going to get 186 calories. So
it's actually lying
this
to you.
label is actually wrong, but I don't want you to get caught up in that. I'll explain that in just a minute. So for 19 pieces of this, you're actually eating 186 calories, and most of those calories are coming from your fat macronutrient. Okay,
Yes.
So that's not a bad thing, but let's dive into what each macronutrient does for our bodies. Is that fair, you think?
Yes.
Next. Okay.
Yeah. And you might have to watch that back a couple times just to kind of get it. And 2, if you're not a patient here at Elevate Wellness and you don't live locally or somewhere that there is an InBody, that BMR calculator, there are plenty of ways you can get a hold of that online. The InBody is a little more specific because it's actually truly using your weight and everything measurement while you're on the platform. But those calculations online that you can find a BMR calculator, it's going to get as close.
Enough. Yeah.
Go with it. Go with it. That's a great starting point.
Okay, and don't let me forget, because I do want to go back into that basal metabolic rate and add in, like, we didn't factor in activity and stuff either. So,
and that's something that BMR online calculator too, if you're not having our InBody, it does for you here in office. We actually do that for our patients by asking them about how they're working out, what's their normal lifestyle look like.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about, my favorite word is protein. Protein and fiber, but protein's my absolute favorite. Protein is king of all macronutrients. If you're not getting enough protein, there are several that might be a big hindrance on why you can't lose the body fat, why you're not building muscle. So protein is actually a Greek word, and it stands for first place.
I like that.
It does, yeah. Its job is to, superficially, there's more to this, but builds muscle. It's immunoprotective. It stabilizes blood glucose, and it helps with satiety. So when you're eating more protein, naturally you're going to feel fuller. You're less likely to binge on things that don't serve your body as well. And it increases your metabolism. So when we talk about it being immunoprotective, when we come in contact with viruses or whatever it is, we build up antibodies to those. Antibodies are protein. If you're not eating enough protein, you have a difficult time building these antibodies.
You can't heal.
I don't care. This is me being, okay, get my tinfoil hat, I guess, whatever. I don't care what you put into your body to increase your antibodies, such as like vaccines and things like that. If you are not eating enough protein, those vaccines are not going to be as effective for somebody.
No.
You can't build up the antibodies.
No.
So.
Too, which relates back to like these patients and stuff, these high morbid patients that we're still getting vaccines. We're not even going to go down that rabbit hole, but we just said it. Still having issues.
Because we're not covering the basics here. You got to have
their lifestyle put them at those risk factors, and not feeding their bodies appropriately put them in the risk factors. And then you're taking a vaccine, but you're not even able to utilize that appropriately. You're throwing your money away. Yeah. You're throwing the government's money away, low key.
Yeah.
Sorry. Tin hat.
No. When we talk about the increased metabolism, so when we're taking in more protein, it actually, your body burns more calories to break that down compared to something like your simple sugars, like your carbohydrates and things like that. So you need protein to do this.
You do.
How much protein do we need? Again, we use the InBody scan to determine this, but it's based on your lean muscle mass. So in activity level.
Mm-hmm.
So anywhere from 0.8 to 1.2 grams per pound of lean muscle mass is what we use.
Yes.
So if you're more active, if you're an athlete, you're going to need the higher end, 1.2 grams. If you're a little bit more sedentary, let's say older
desk jobs,
adults, you still need a lot.
Yes.
But it's like more like the 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of lean muscle mass.
And especially when you're first starting to incorporate protein really into your diet, people's going to learn very fast. You're not eating a lot. So sometimes starting off with our patients on that lower end, just to get used to eating protein, is a great place to start.
Yeah, exactly. And it is one of those things you have to gradually add that in. If you're used to, on average, like if you look at the MyFitnessPal, their recommendations actually, what is it, the FDA, their recommendations are 60 grams. And that's honestly, that's standardized across the board. And that's, no, it's not. It's enough to keep someone who's sick laying in a hospital bed, like alive. Yeah. That's it. So we definitely need more than that. But I would say on average, people are actually eating around 60 to 70 grams a day. And they need to gradually increase that little by little so it doesn't throw their GI tract
off.
Yeah.
You have to acclimate to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Anything else on protein? I know. Go ahead.
I was going to say too, just food for thought. When I had my surgery too, that was actually part of my post-op care on healing my incision, healing wounds and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. He told me he specifically wanted me drinking a 30-gram protein shake with my meal. Yeah. Every meal. So if the shakes alone, I mean, I was eating 200, if not more, of grams of protein a day. I was inhaling that stuff. But just food for thought. Like, we're not the only one that thinks this way. We're talking about a plastic surgeon who's like sitting here telling you, like, I need you 30 grams of protein every meal. Every meal.
We need to keep a tally. I would be interested to how many times a day I say the word protein.
Oh man, I'm rich.
Seriously.
I'm big rich.
My kids, if you ask them right now, what do I preach? Protein.
I don't care. Listen, people tell me I eat protein. You don't. Yeah. You don't eat enough. Don't even argue with me. You don't eat enough protein.
No, not especially if you're not tracking it.
No.
Okay, so there are different types of proteins too. We need to remember there's complete proteins and there's incomplete proteins. So I am not by any means dogging vegan or vegetarian or anything like that, because I know you guys are working really, really hard to get your protein intake in. But when it comes to, you have to put foods together in order to get the complete protein, which actually has all 9 essential amino acids.
Yes.
Meaning our bodies do not make them. We have to actually take them in.
And I think too, people don't realize, so when you're starting a lifestyle and when you're doing vegan and things like that, and you're trying to get your protein, the amount of food you're going to have to eat is going to incredibly increase, even to meet that requirement. And already I have problems with my patients. I don't eat till 10. I don't eat till noon. I don't eat till 1. You're going to make this so much harder on yourself than necessary. Yeah. And there's, like she said, I'm not against it either. I'm not at all. But you just have to be mindful on what task or what battles you create for yourself. And is that worth that battle? Mm-hmm. That's a good way to say that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Okay. Carbohydrates would be our next one. Okay. I want to say this. Carbs, I think they're becoming more friend, not foe now, but there for a while it was like carbs are bad. Absolutely not. Carbs
Everything in moderation.
Yeah, you have to have carbohydrates. They're our body's preferred source of energy. Mm-hmm. But there's a difference. I mean, there are simple and complex carbohydrates. Yes. Complex carbs are harder to break down. They're good for you. They can generally contain more fiber, and those are the ones that I try to encourage our patients to include more in their diet. That doesn't mean that you can't have, a handful of gummy bears every now and then. I get it. Like most, and this is where that healthy versus clean comes into play. And I think people think, well, I eat clean. Well, I'm getting off on that.
The biggest thing is to understand too what a complex carb and a simple carb is. And this is kind of the rule of thumb I kind of tell my patients. If you can pluck it from the ground, or it's a grain, anything like that, if it's something in its whole form from the outside skirts of the supermarket, that is more likely to be a complex carb versus anything like a chip bag, a donut, anything you pop, seal, open, rich, smells good. That's a quick carb, like gummy bears, chips, crackers, like little tidbits like that. You're just kind of consuming something really fast versus having something of value. A potato, a sweet potato, grain.
Something that is nutrient dense.
Yes.
And is going to serve your body well.
Which we could even go down that one, and I could literally show you a handful of chips is 140 calories. Look how much you get, and I can give you a potato.
A whole potato.
Slap you some butter and sour cream on there, and you're just a couple more calories more than this here 12 Doritos that you had. And that's just things you learn along the way. Sorry.
Yeah.
Bird moment.
From tracking your food, though.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Pardon the interruption. We just wanted to hop on here and talk about Elivate Wellness's February specials. We have a $100 off lip filler treatment. We have a Bring Your Valentine special where you can bring your significant other to Elivate Wellness and we will see their new consult for free. And a discounted vaginal elevation protocol, which is used to lighten, tighten, and brighten the vaginal area. If you're interested, give us a call at 502-215-6300. Now let's get back to the show. Fats are the next one. So fats are important because they help us build healthy cell walls.
Yes.
They help maintain hormones. They help us absorb vitamins such as A, D, E. You have your essential fatty acids such as omega-3s. And those are found in things like your salmon, some nuts and seeds. Those types of things have it in there. Or you can supplement. I always recommend that you supplement with omega-3s.
Yes.
Because our bodies are continuously breaking down. You have to replace the omega-3s. They are essential, again, meaning that we don't make them.
We have to rely on an outside source.
Yep. Okay. You have your monounsaturated fats, your polyunsaturated fats, your saturated fats, and your trans fats. So your, quote, healthy fats, I guess, should be your monounsaturated fats and your polyfats.
Yes.
Those are going to be like, again, your nut butters, your omega-3s. Your saturated fats and your trans fats are typically going to be found in more of like your processed foods. Trans fats are the ones that are actually going to be like your life takers.
Yes.
They have now, those used to not be, the FDA has now said that you have to label these on food labels.
We're understanding the value of them more and what they play in our health role.
Yeah.
And that's why we too, like, just in general, that's a good thing about working things like here. We're kind of ahead of the curve on things like that. We know and understand the value of fats and things like that is not as researched as before. Sorry. That was just a little sidebar.
But it's true. So they're back in what, the 80s, 90s, fats were like, oh, you got to be a low fat diet. But we have to have enough fats. We have to have a healthy amount of cholesterol. We actually have to have a total of 150. Our cholesterol has to be at least 150 for healthy hormones.
Yes.
And so if you're like limiting fats or you're on things that are going to reduce that, obviously you're going to have some hormone dysfunction, and that's why fats are important.
Yes. So
now let's go into, because I think the biggest question is, how do we apply this when it comes to like eating?
Okay. So, I think this could go many ways too, and even application. So first of all is understanding where you are in your journey. Let's just start there. And I say that with a wholeheartedness. And that's where we have to, first of all, if we're going to choose to optimize our health, we're going to have to track our food.
I always say this too. You have to be a researcher
for yourself
in your own health first.
Yes. Yeah. You have to take responsibility, and you have to you have to choose yourself. There's no way around that. So, first of all, understand your goals. I think that's the thing. I do that with my patients a lot. I'm like, why are we doing this? What's your goal? What's your achievement? So then we remind ourselves of why we're doing this. So therefore you have a reason. Now we're going to develop a plan, and we're going to try to stick to it. So when we use things like MyFitnessPal, we talked about this before, but I don't care if you write it in a journal. I don't care if you put it, and I said this on my own personal pages. I don't care if you put it in your notepad, whatever. Take accountability and pay attention to what you're putting in your mouth first. That's step number one. That's hard in itself, because we have to be honest with ourselves of how much we're consuming throughout the day.
Yeah.
And that's accountability. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, it gives us insight too. If we're tracking, I prefer an app, because if you're tracking your food, let's say we say track your food for a week. Let's see what your baseline is. Yeah. That's when you realize, oh, wow, I'm taking in way less protein, or way more calories, or way under calories.
Yes.
It gives this is your baseline. Yeah. We have to see what that is.
Yeah. And I can't do you a service if you're not being honest with yourself first.
Yeah.
And then how are we going to go about that then? So,
like, can we go into the in-body real quick and just say,
go
like,
ahead.
how
you wanted to say that too.
Well, so when we get your basal metabolic rate, we then ask you, how active are you? Yeah. Well, then we use that. There's an activity multiplier that we will multiply your BMR by, and that is your maintenance calories. So then when we determine where your maintenance calories are, if you don't want to change anything, oops, I just hit that. Sorry, Chris. I hit the microphone. Okay. If you determine your maintenance calories, we say, okay, do you want to lose weight? If you're in a position, do you have enough muscle mass? Is your basal metabolic rate high enough to where you can sustain a calorie deficit to lose? Then we will subtract calories from that maintenance.
Yes.
If we recommend, and we do this often, that we actually spend some time in some metabolic repair, that's called a reverse diet.
Mm-hmm.
Some people need it, some people don't. We slowly add calories back in, assuming you're going to strength train. We build muscle, put you in a better place metabolically. Maybe it takes 6-12 months even, and then start you in a calorie deficit. Nobody wants to hear that part, but that's a really important piece.
Yeah. To repair your metabolic system and to truly, if you've never tracked your food at all, even just putting you in maintenance calories, like she said, if you're not even used to eating that, step one, that's going to be hard. So why would I sit here and put you, some people can handle it. Some people can be more accountable than others. And that's, again, your personal preference, but we're trying to make it as easy as possible. If you've never even like looked at your food and determined how much I'm just eating on the regular, and then I'm actually go, well, I'm going to go ahead and take 500 away from that. You can't have that today. Dang, I gave you twice the work to start off with when I like a slower introduction. So when we're saying these things, we do it with like love in our heart. Mm-hmm. I don't want you to be miserable. I know what it feels like to be miserable. No. And then that's when we get into things like protein and carbohydrates and how we try to tailor that to you based off of labs, your A1C, your insulin, what your muscle mass is and how much protein you need. And that's when these macronutrients really come into shine in that aspect. I've been like I still track my food to this day. I still track my food. I scan everything that I do. And personal story, that's what I'm working on right now is recomposition. And we're trying to improve overall physique changes. I wish people would get all this mindset, let me lose weight, when really you just want to look better in the position you're in. And that's something else too. What else can I talk about when it comes to making this obtainable?
Well, I think going back to, so once we've determined your calories and we've set some goals for you, then we take those calories and that's when we divide them up into the macronutrients for you. I typically, you're probably the same way. I start with protein because again, protein's king.
Listen.
It's the easiest one to figure out.
You're going to eat your carbs. You're not going to hit your protein.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Initially. That's a generalized blanket statement, but you're not eating your protein. So that's why we prioritize it. If I'm going to prioritize two things off the rip, calories, protein.
Well, my thing is if you're hitting if you're hitting your macronutrients, you'll hit your calories.
Exactly.
I prioritize. I look at protein. I'm like, hit your protein. So we set your protein goal. Then from there, we set your fats. So your fats should make up anywhere from like 30 to 35% of your overall calories. So we'll set that, and then the rest of it can be your carbohydrates. Yeah. Now, depending on if you're like a PCOS patient or there are other factors that we may borrow from your carbs and add to your fats or add to your protein. So
to help you out individually. Once
we've set these limits, we would want you to put it into MyFitnessPal. We ideally would like you to divide your meals out into like 4 to even 5 meals in a day. Yes. So you're eating your breakfast. A couple hours later, you're getting a snack. Then you're getting your lunch. Then you're getting a snack. Then you're getting your dinner. Yes, you're going to feel full because you're actually fueling your body correctly. You're getting more protein in.
It keeps that metabolism going.
But you're actually taking in less calories and you're going to lose body fat if you're in a calorie deficit. Mm-hmm. Now, how would we structure our meals like breakfast? Let's give some examples of what a balanced breakfast would look like.
Okay, go ahead. What'd you eat for breakfast this morning?
Well, I use that keto bread a lot, like cinnamon keto bread, just because I like the taste of it and it's got a lot of fiber. That has 12 grams of protein. I put a little bit of peanut butter on it. I weigh out my peanut butter. Yes, I do. And then I had some egg whites with it. So then I had my egg whites are my protein. My peanut butter is a fat. Sad to say that it is not a protein. So I add my fats in there, and then I've got my carbs and my fiber with my bread. So that's all 3 of those things together. Mm-hmm. What did you have for breakfast?
Ooh, I made protein pancakes with syrup and strawberries, and I use sugar-free syrup. Say that 5 times fast. I used sugar-free syrup. I used Kodiak protein pancake mix, and I actually scooped in some extra protein just to sneak it in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I used egg whites as my water base instead. And then I put cinnamon in it and nutmeg and just some little foo-foo stuff in it. Fire. It was fire.
So how many grams of protein was that this morning?
Oh my gosh, I think I hit like 35.
Okay.
Overall.
So your day has started out with 35 grams of protein.
30 to 50 grams of protein. Start your breakfast with it, I promise.
So then you'll get a snack usually?
I have a Fairlife protein shake already in the car waiting on me.
Okay. And then like lunch, what's your lunch?
I already have it prepped. I have shredded chicken tacos that I made with some rice and beans. So I have my fiber, I have my carbohydrate, I have my protein, and then a little cheese on there.
Okay.
Just for feel good love.
I'm going through your whole day. Do you know what you're going to have for?
Oh, dinner's kind of up in there. I always prep my breakfasts and my lunches just because it's easy and I can do 3 days at a time. It won't wear me out. Dinners, it's kind of like whatever's in there. I think I got some steak in there. I could probably thaw. Just thinking about my freezer right now in my head. Mm-hmm. And then I got Brussels sprouts.
Yeah.
I'll eat them.
It's perfect.
They're not my favorite Brussels sprouts, but I'll eat these.
Yeah. I default to things like, because I don't like to eat. I love sweets and I love salt. So like I'll usually do like a Greek yogurt for my snack after my lunch.
I have a snack
chocolate
like Greek
chips.
yogurt. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And like an apple with it. So then I've got my Greek yogurt. It's like my protein. My chocolate chips are just for fun. My apple is my carbohydrates and my fiber. And then for lunch, I usually, like today, I'll probably have like a turkey sandwich. Yeah. But the key is I'm not just eating a turkey. I know how much turkey I'm putting on my sandwich. So I can't just do 2 slices and call it done. I'm probably going to add like 5 or 6.
Yeah, it's going to be a little hefty sandwich.
Anything I can do to add more protein to each meal, I do that. So that brings us back into, and this is another podcast topic, but just trying to, when it comes to like things like intermittent fasting.
Oh, man.
You know, if we're telling you to eat 100 to 150 grams of protein in a day.
Can you shove it all in your mouth in one moment?
No, you can't. I mean, it's really hard and your GI system's not going to really appreciate it. So.
Oh. I don't know about you, but just food for thought. I think I've heard here from my patients more than anything. You eat that much during the day?
Yes. Yep.
I am eating every 2 to 3 hours.
Yep. I'm sorry. I had someone say something to me the other day. They were like you eat. I asked my husband. Go ahead.
I'm pretty sure I think we said this. I said, I'm pretty sure you could eat me underneath the table.
Yeah. Like I will not go without
straight
food.
Facts. She gets hangry, y'all. And my eyes get big in office when she's hungry.
Look out. So, what else? I hope that this wasn't overwhelming. I don't want to, it's really, really hard to cram all of this in a 20 to 25 minute podcast. We can dive into more details if you guys want to.
Yeah.
But to recap, just track your food. Let's see where you're at for fun.
Start off. That's the first thing.
Get an in-body scan if you want to come in. We're going to use that to help you determine where your calories should be based on where you are right now.
Yep.
And that's it, I think.
And just identify your goals. Make sure you keep those in the forefront of your brain. Like you have to be your motivator. Mm-hmm. You're responsible for your health. You have to determine it's a priority.
What about the with or without it? What was our topic today?
Oh no, we did. What did we say, Chris?
Oh,
we told you. We included you in on this. Man
I forgot
down.
the topic. Okay. Heck, I don't remember. I don't know. We'll come up with the next one, I guess.
Oh, no.
It's all right.
We had it. What was it? It was good, too.
It was good.
Something with nutrition, right?
It was a nutrition topic.
It was about some kind of sugar.
No, I said that
Was
one.
it simple sugar?
No, I was talking about like fake sugars in your body. No, but you had another one and you was really good.
I don't know. It'll come back. But, all right. I'm sure you guys are done listening to us talk now. But come see us if you have any questions. And we'll catch you all next time. Hey, thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed our content, please comment, like, and share our show. To stay up to date with our practice, please visit our website at www.elevatewellness.com or to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Elevate Wellness LLC.